and also hit the target. And that shows how much emphasis we put on marksmanship.
The teaching at the rifle range also has a larger meaning. It sets a tone, reinforced throughout boot camp, that Marines pass on knowledge and that they are connected to their history and to those who came before them.
We teach them history and traditions of the Marine Corps. So they understand what it's like to be a Marine. They understand what it was like to be a Marine 100 years ago.
I don't think you can teach it didactically. It doesn't happen at a chalkboard. It's the culture, again, and the transmission of the culture's values from one generation to the next.
They understand that they cannot allow those who have gone before to be let down. They know they can never let that legacy die. That's why history is so important. It's part of our ethos. It's part of who we are.
The official birth date of the Marine Corps is November 10th, 1775, when the Second Continental Congress authorized 2 battalions of Continental Marines as landing forces with the fleet.
Marines come from the sea. We have fought as a component with the Navy since 1775. Marines were never great in number. A small corps, volunteers, adventurous, soldiers of the sea, if you would. They were equally at home on the ships of the fleet and serving with the Army.
The Marines distinguished themselves in an array of regional conflicts during their first 150 years, from the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli. It was the First World War that earned the Marines the reputation as the first to fight.
They charged through the wheat fields and into the woods of a place called Belleau Woods in France in 1918 to thwart a major German offensive against the capital of France, Paris. Belleau Wood was a great turning point for the Marines. They lost more men on that first day than it had in casualties total for the 167 years that preceded it.
Belleau Wood is one of 3 touchstone battles in Marine Corps history. The others are Iwo Jima in 1945 and the Chosin Reservoir in Korea in 1950.
Iwo Jima probably dominates even the other 2. This was 1945, the 4th year of the war. The Navy, Army, Marines, and the Army Air Force were advancing steadily towards Japan. There had been victory on every front. But the closer we got to Japan, the bloodier it was getting. Iwo Jima was going to be the biggest and bloodiest. This was a 36-day battle. It cost 26,000 Marines. The symbol of it, of course, was the raising of the American flag on top of Mount Suribachi. And every Japanese soldier on that island could see that flag going up on the 4th day of the battle. And it was kind of like their death knell. It was coming.
The photograph of the flag raising on Iwo Jima became more than a symbol of the bloodiest battle in Marine Corps history. That one iconic image captured the ethos of the Marines.
You see 6 troops. 5 of them are U.S. Marines, and one of them is a Navy corpsman. Working together, struggling together, lifting this flag in a very stiff wind on a very dangerous and exposed battlefield. Here was the icon of the whole war, the teamwork and the victory. If you walk around the Marine Memorial, the great carved statue at Arlington Cemetery, you'll see carved into the granite the names of so many battles that go back to the 1770s and the Revolutionary War. There's some blank spaces. There's room for other battles to come.
Good morning, Series 4016!
Today we are training day 43. We have the actual obstacle course and a 3-mile individual effort run.
So everything comes from within, does it not? Yes, ma'am! So dig it deep and get some!
It is the exact same course, same events, same obstacles that the males run.
You gotta wanna have to do it, because no one else is gonna do it for you.
One aspect of boot camp that remains unchanged is how the Marine Corps trains women. Alone among all branches of the U.S. military, the Marine Corps trains male and female recruits separately.
The 4th Battalion, one of our 4 training battalions here at Parris Island, is the only gender-segregated battalion within the Department of Defense. There is the age-old attraction that exists between boys and girls, men and women, that by keeping them separate, we eliminate that.
Almost there, Clark. You can do this, recruit.
But as far as training is concerned, we're along the same lines as our male counterparts, which has not always been the case. You talk to a female Marine 20 years ago when we were still learning how to properly apply our makeup, making sure that everything matched, properly assuring that a female could wear the high heels and walk across the stage in a ladylike manner. So the strides that we have made, for me to be able to say our training is aligned with the males, is a huge success for the Marine Corps and for the Department of Defense at large.
They have to meet all the same graduation requirements. In other words, there's no difference in the Marine Corps between what a female recruit and a male recruit gets here at Parris Island.
That integration, the idea that we train as we fight, is the next step in the training process. The young Marines leave here, and then they get integrated, and we're training together at that point.
Tell me what you've been working for every night if you can't get over this bar.
About 6% of the Marine Corps are women. They serve in nearly all military occupations. But Department of Defense regulations prohibit women from serving in direct combat roles. Increasingly, those distinctions are blurred on the battlefield.
I think that that's the great debate. I think that clearly everyone is seeing those lines blurred, and I think that we are fairly integrated in those combat zones. And that is the great debate, the great issue that's at hand right now.
There are certainly certain elements of our Marine Corps today that permit technology to level the playing field. Fixed-wing aircraft, helicopters, and the like. The policy in the Department of Defense right now, of course, is that we will not allow women to be assigned in combat arms. As a hypothetical in the future, any time that we can leverage technology and equalize the battlefield, then that will provide us with an opportunity to capitalize on women in combat.
But for many, both outside and especially inside the Marine Corps, the question is whether women can attain the warrior status of their male counterparts.
It's 2 different biologies. I don't think anybody would argue with that. One of the big problems women have physically is that they can't handle the physical stress of carrying loads over rough terrain for long periods of time. Are there women, individuals, who can be competent warriors? I think so. Relatively few. Are there large groups of women who can be warriors? No. Never has happened. I don't think it ever will happen.
One more time, recruit. Touch it. Now say it.
I think it starts with when you ask a young female recruit why they joined the Marine Corps. 90% of them will say, I joined to defend my country. And if that isn't saying the warrior ethos is there for a female recruit, I don't know what else we could say. It's as much a part of the female psyche as it is of the male psyche. That's why they joined.
Left foot, left foot, left foot, left foot.
And that warrior ethos is all over everything that we do on and off the battlefield.
All recruits must meet a series of graduation requirements. Each recruit, male and female, must also pass a final test before earning the title of Marine.
Let's go, you don't have all day.
The Crucible is often defined as a culminating event at Parris Island. It occurs during the 10th week of training. It is a 54-hour training exercise that is comprised of 6 major events during the daytime and 2 events at night. The emphasis during the Crucible is teamwork.
Let's go!
They're going to be tested mentally, they're going to be tested physically.